Driver than me.
Uber recently have made various different changes to the app here in the UK, and no one can really put it together why. Well, I've got the answer for you. So the first thing they introduced a couple of months ago was the driver insight. This is part of the app that monitors your driving capability. A lot of you are already well aware of this, so I won't go into too much detail about it, but it monitors your braking and your speed. Another change that they've recently done was the acceptance rate and your cancellation rate. Now, normally this was based on the last 30 days average. They've now changed this to the last 100 exclusive trips offer. Now, the reason I say exclusive trips offer is because that's quite an important part of it. When you get a job offered to you that's exclusive, this is where your acceptance rate comes from. It's not doing trip radar jobs. Cancellation rate is also going to be updated to use the same metric. However, that will also include your trip radar trips. So the last 100 trips that you've accepted to do, but then cancelled, will be the definition of what your cancellation rate is. The new way at which the measuring these rates will affect your percentages throughout any one particular shift. And I bet you're wondering why. Well, they have now fully concreted and cemented the foundation for the launch in the UK of something called Advantage Mode.
Introducing Advantage Mode. The idea is pretty simple. It rewards reliable and safe drivers with more earnings, 20% more earnings per hour than standard mode drivers, for providing great service to riders. That means accepting more often, canceling less, and getting riders where they need to go safely.
Okay, so let me break it down for you. There's 4 things that is required for you to qualify for Advantage Mode. Your acceptance rate, so we've talked about that, has to be 25% or higher. That means 1 in every 4 exclusive trips given to you, you have to accept. Your cancellation rate has to be 8% or below. So in the last 100 trips that you physically accepted to do and then cancelled, it can't be more than 8. Then you've got your star rating. So currently I'm a 5-star driver. I've only just got that back, to be fair. It's been months of me on 4.99, but now I'm back to 5. For the Advantage Mode, you have to be 4.85. And the fourth and final stat that you need, and this will probably surprise everyone, is your driver insight. Score needs to be 75 or higher. So that's why they have added all these features over the past month to the UK side of the driver app. Now, let's talk about the difference between Advantage and Standard. The biggest advantage to this is you get 5% more on your trips compared to Standard mode. Now, in that clip just there that you've seen, it did say drivers earn 20% more an hour. Now, I'm no Matt Einstein, but 5% more on trips. Surely that means 5% more per hour. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Let me know below if you disagree, or you can somehow work out how they're getting 20% more from 5% more trips. I've also confirmed that you will be given more exclusive just for you trip offers compared to regular people on the standard mode who are going to be relying on trip radar. This is a big part I don't like. That's feeding the favoritism, boys. Now, on the local firm, when I heard about feeding drivers they prefer to do jobs, I didn't like it at all. And that was one of the benefits I liked about Uber. But they're introducing this to feed the drivers that willy-nilly accept jobs more than people who are going, nah, I'm not doing that. You'll also get priority jobs for trip radar for airport work. Now, I know of lots of people that just do airport runs and sit in the airport car park for hours on end waiting for that golden job to get out of there and then get back to get a rematch. This new mode will affect their rematch capability and will slow down their earnings. Now, there's various different things you won't get the extra 5% on. Some are obvious, but I'll list them for you anyway. So the first one is the quests that you do and the promotions that Uber offers, like complete 10 trips in one day, or where they'll say you get an extra £2 if you complete trips in the city centre from 11 p.m. onwards. Them type of things, you won't get the extra 5%. You won't get the extra 5% on tips. You won't get an extra 5% on any cancellation fees or waiting time. It won't be on that neither, as well as any tolls or parking charges, airport charges, that type of thing, and any third-party expenses. Now, to check if you're on an advantage mode, it's fairly straightforward. You just scroll across and it'll say advantage mode. Now, if you're not advantage mode, that means you're standard mode. What does that mean to you? Well, first of all, it means you will get less and less exclusive offers, and the bulk of your trips will be from Trip Radar. Shocking, right? It'll also mean you won't get the 5% extra and you won't get the rematches. How do you get yourself back to advantage mode? Well, you need to keep accepting the exclusive offers that they send you. It's as simple as that, whilst keeping them 4 stats above what we've already mentioned. Right, now that that's all out the way and you know what's what with it, I'll give you my opinion on it, my honest one, as a driver, and I've been a driver for 8 years, haven't I? So the first thing you've got to think about is there's now going to be 2 different classes of drivers in Uber. You're going to have the type of drivers that accept everything, which are going to get a reward, and the more conservative driver, like myself, that won't just accept anything. Then you've got to think to yourself, is it actually worth getting yourself into this advantage mode? Well, let's do some basic maths. Everyone likes to get over £20 an hour. That's like the general target people go for. To get that, it works out completing 3 jobs, roughly 3 jobs of £7. It gives you £21 an hour. Now, if you do 5% more on that £7, you're looking at 35 pence. Over the hour, over the 3, you're looking at £1 and 5 pence more an hour. I have no idea where they've got the 20% extra from, because my maths, it's not. It's 5% more at £1 and 5 pence. Now, am I going to be going out when this is introduced, trying to get into advantage mode? No, I'm not. Because the exclusive offers that they offer me currently, a lot of them are absolutely awful. My acceptance rate is now down to 7%, as you've seen before in that screenshot. Now, cancellation rate, that's easy to keep. Just don't accept a job that you're not going to complete. That's fairly straightforward. Them cancellations you see in my stats is solely from as I'm typing to someone on WhatsApp while I'm pulled over, the accept button or the match button has popped up just as I'm pressing space. So the time frame on this, nobody will actually know. But like with Trip Radar, when I told you about that, it wasn't till a couple of months later they started rolling it out. When I told you about Uber Teens, they then started rolling that out in various different cities. So I imagine the timescale will be quite similar. If you found this video at all helpful, guys, give us a thumb up. If you're new, give us a sub. Oh, and if you haven't seen one of my most favourite stories on of being a taxi driver, check this video out. See you in the next one.